Hello and welcome from HWM. In this video we will show you how to complete a Pegasus PRV controller installation. Step 1. Equipment required. Before we begin, let's go through the equipment that makes up a standard installation. We require both a Pegasus 2 solenoid box and a Pegasus 2 control box. A cable to connect the solenoid and control boxes, an actuator, blue, red and green installation piping, and installation fittings, hanging brackets, a flying lead control cable, which is only used if connecting via flow control, a PC to controller connecting cable which enables site setup details to be entered, and, if ordered additionally, an external battery pack to support a higher frequency of call data above twice a day. Step 2. Preparing for the installation. In this video we will be using the standard installation drawing for site setup. Other installation drawings are available in the manual for non-standard installations, including the latch function. Always have the installation drawings at hand to easily follow the correct connections. First, connect the control box to the solenoid box using the connecting cable. The correct port is labelled on the front of the control box and similarly on the solenoid box for the connection point. Make sure the mil-spec connectors are correctly connected with a tight locking seal. Next, refer to the diagram and use the blue pipe. Ensure when making any pipe connections that the end is cut straight and smooth, using pipe cutters to avoid any potential leaks. Take one of the female quick connect fittings and push fit into the blue pipe. Then, push the quick fit connector into the outlet pressure port on the control box. After cutting, firmly connect a male quick connect fitting to the other end of the blue pipe. Next, cut a small length of red pipe and securely connect the remaining female quick connector fitting. Secure the quick connect fitting into the inlet pressure port on the control box. Connect a black T connector to the other end of the red pipe. Cut another short length of red pipe and connect to the solenoid marked inlet. Then, connect the other end to the black T. Cut a third short length of red pipe, connecting one end to the first black T and the other end to a second black T. Connect the inline filter by cutting a short length of red pipe, connecting one end to the second black T and the other end to the filter. It does not matter which way round the filter is fitted. Connect another piece of red pipe to the filter and place a male quick connect fitting to the end of the pipe. Cut a final piece of red pipe and connect to the remaining connection of the second T. The other end connects to the larger three-way handled T-piece. Ensure the handle on this T-piece is pointing to the correct green side connection when doing this. Next, cut a length of green pipe to connect the three-way handled T-piece to the solenoid box port marked Actuator. Lastly, cut a short length of green pipe and connect to the remaining port on the large three-way handled T. If you are intending on using the controller on flow modulation, then connect the flying lead flow cable to the control box mil-spec port. Connect this to the flow meter using your usual pulse unit or wide connection to obtain flow readings. On the flow cable, the green wire is ground and the blue wire is signal. Step 3. Connect into the PRV. First, connect the blue pipe to the downstream pressure tap on the PRV and turn on the pressure tap if you have one. Next, double check the handle on the three-way T is pointing to the green pipe, then connect the red pipe to the upstream pressure tap on the PRV, turning on the pressure tap if you have one. Step 4. Reading the live pressure readings. Before continuing, we recommend connecting to Pegasus via IDT PC software, using the USB comms cable to read the live pressure readings. Once connected, click Live Values through the PRV Installation tab. Make sure the values read what you are expecting before continuing, leaving these live values running for the rest of the installation. Step 5. Preparing the actuator. Unscrew the thread from the actuator and check the pin running through the head can move freely. Screw the head back into the actuator and ensure that all three nuts on the thread are screwed together around the center nut. Then, screw the remaining visible top thread into the actuator. Just hand tight until the top nut is close to touching the actuator. Step 6. Installing the actuator. To commence installation without disrupting customer pressure, first isolate the PRV. This is normally done by closing the top chamber tap on the PRV. Next, slacken the pilot thread nut, but leave this in its fixing position on the pilot thread. Slowly screw out the thread whilst watching the live pressure readings in IDT, checking the PRV is still maintaining a fixed outlet pressure. Once the pilot thread is fully removed, place next to the actuator and adjust the lower nut on the actuator thread so that it matches the distance from the end of the pilot thread to the fixing nut position. This can then be used as an approximate guide starting point to your actuator installations. Screw the actuator into the PRV pilot until the lower nut touches the PRV pilot. Slowly open up the PRV top chamber tap. This puts the PRV back into normal pilot operation. Check the downstream pressure on IDT live values. The maximum downstream pressure must be set first on the actuator. With a spanner or wrench, hold the middle nut on the actuator and turn clockwise to increase to the desired pressure or anti-clockwise to reduce the desired pressure. Make sure the pressure settles at the desired maximum level before continuing. Once the maximum desired pressure is set, tighten the lower nut against the pilot with a spanner or wrench, whilst holding the actuator to avoid any further actuator movement. Now place the spanner or wrench on the middle actuator nut and slowly screw out the actuator head anti-clockwise. This should start to reduce the pressure. Check the downstream pressure on IDT live values. Make sure the downstream pressure settles at the desired minimum level before commencing. We always advise setting the maximum pressure plus 2 meters above the desired pressure and the minimum pressure minus 2 meters below the desired pressure. This allows for fluctuations in PRV stability and lower maintenance on the Pegasus controller. Finally, tighten the top nut on the actuator thread to the underside of the actuator. Use a spanner or wrench to tighten, whilst holding the actuator to avoid any further movement. Step 7. Complete the actuator installation. Connect the remaining green control pipe to the actuator. Step 8. Manually testing the installation. If you haven't already, please now connect to IDT PC using the USB comms cable to complete the installation. Once connected, click the PRV Installation tab. Step 9. Manually checking maximum pressure. Having set the mechanical desired maximum and minimum actuator settings, we now have to manually force the Pegasus to achieve those pressure settings before leaving site. First, enter the maximum target pressure from your table, making sure the drop-down is set to fast. Set the period of manual override time, then click Start Control and wait for the button to go green. Click Override. A pop-up box will appear to confirm this. Click OK, then select Live Values. The maximum target pressure should appear in the bottom right-hand display box, and the downstream pressure should start to increase to within 1 meter of the desired maximum target pressure. During this time, the solenoid box will be heard clicking as it pulses water into the actuator. Once the target pressure is achieved, the solenoid box will stop clicking. Step 10. Manually checking minimum pressure. We now need to manually force the Pegasus to achieve the minimum pressure setting before leaving site. First, enter the minimum target pressure from your table, making sure the drop-down is set to fast. Set the period of manual override time, then click Start Control and wait for the button to go green. Click Override. A pop-up box will appear to confirm this. Click OK, then select Live Values. The minimum target pressure should appear in the bottom right-hand display box, and the downstream pressure should start to decrease to within 1 meter of the desired minimum target pressure. During this time, the solenoid box will be heard clicking as it pulses water out of the actuator, and this will be vented from the solenoid box via the vent port. Once the target pressure is achieved, the solenoid box will stop clicking and water will cease venting. The mechanical phase of the installation is now complete. All that remains is to return to the Setup tab in IDT PC to enter the table values, mode for control, any flow calibrations, and then to start control. Further information about these settings can be found in the Pegasus manual. Step 11. Complete the controller installation. Complete the installation by fitting the aerial, ensuring it is screwed tightly to the Pegasus. Under the Setup tab in IDT PC, make sure the modem is switched on and the correct call frequency or time settings for the controller are set. Lastly, conduct a call test. This checks the signal from Pegasus via a local mast to the datagate server and back to Pegasus. Make sure a successful test is completed to confirm reliability of signal connection. More information about aerial position and signal testing can be found in the Pegasus manual. Lastly, if you are using an external battery pack to enhance the call frequency from Pegasus, Remove the IDT-PC cable from the control box and replace with the external battery pack. Ensure the mil-spec connector is twisted to the locked position. This concludes the Pegasus installation. If you require further assistance or information about Pegasus, please contact us, either by calling or visiting us online at hwmglobal.com.